Hey everybody, it's Dr. Ben with Ercolina. We're going to talk about the wonderful Ercolina Mega Bender Mandrel 030 TC. I got my assistant little Fast Eddie here, and we're going to walk through some of the best features on this machine real quick. You can see it's the base of the 030 Mega Bender, which has been around for many years. It's got a nice updated control on it now that we call a touch screen. A lot of super great features in there. We're going to talk about those on this video and then a couple secondary videos. Also has the tailstock that's digital, and you can memorize your Y and your B positions, and that's an air collet, so it's easy to chuck. That's controlled from the control itself. Okay, there's just a couple things here I want to point out on this Mandrel table unit. We've got the cabinet door open so you can see some more visuals inside. On the back of the machine, the cabinet, you've got a nice area for your air connection. You've got your air solenoids, very easy to connect the air line to it. That air is going to supply air to the tailstock. If we zoom back out, we'll go back over to that cabinet area. We're going to see the reservoir and some of the solenoids that operate the features, and then we're going to go around the other side and take a look. We've got a pressure gauge here. This gauge tells you the pressure on the clamps. This hydraulics is for the clamp and the mandrel rod. This can be either in a 10-foot table or a 20-foot table. The one we're looking at today is actually just a 10-foot table, so it really depends a lot on what you're doing. But from the other side of that mandrel pump, you can see here, and there's a place that you can adjust pressure if you need to, make some wiring changes to the motor if you need to too. But I'm going to go ahead and have Eddie open up this small electrical cabinet on this mandrel just to show you kind of what's inside that. Again, all this is preset as you requested when we ship it. If for any reason you need to change that, you want to contact us. But just to let you know what's going on inside that cabinet, got good filtered power coming in, and we can control that pretty easily. And there's some settings you can make, obviously fuses and relays, whatnot. But that's good to know it's there if you need it. It's all part of the package. Very easy setup. This table is a one-piece table, and it comes separately from the machine. But to mount this, it's simply taking this table. Here's the connection point. You have to take and mount this table with 4 bolts. There's 2 right there that I'm showing. And there's a dowel pin that goes on the back here to help you align it. So the alignment's super easy. If for some reason it's not aligned and you have to adjust it to your floor, you can go down to the feet on the mandrel table and make some quick adjustments, level the table up nice. We're going to go ahead and turn this machine on, and to do that, the first thing we need to do is hit the base power in the cabinet to the on position with the rotary switch, and that's going to bring up your screen. It's going to take just a few seconds to load. Remember, this is a small computer that we're dealing with here. So you can see it's booting up, and this is the first time only. Once it's on, and you can leave the power to that if you'd like. It'll stay in tune with what the home screen will look like. This is coming up here shortly. Okay, while that's finished loading, we're going to go ahead and release the e-stop switch. Eddie, go ahead and do that right now, just like that. And then you're going to have to hit that reset and hold it for about 2 seconds. 1001, 1002, let it go. That resets the drives so that you can use this thing. After that, we're going to move in a little closer here so we can take a really good look at this display for you here. Let me zoom in. Okay, I think we're everybody's going to be able to see that. So we're going to go ahead and walk you through some basic things that you need to do when you first start up with the 030. So let's take a look at the tool screen on the left side first, Eddie. Just a couple things to point out here. We've got a tool screen that gives you individual control of any function that you need to manually control. They're all clearly labeled. If, for instance, you wanted to cycle the C-axis, you could do that. You could use the plus and minus key shown on the display. You can do the clamp function, the mandrel function. You can open and close the collet. Very nice, easy things to do. You can use the plus or minus, or you can use the foot pedal when you do these things. So a couple ways to control it. And also one more note, on the very right corner of that screen, if the reset button hadn't been depressed, that would be flashing or brighter. So That's the alarm page letting you know that there may be a situation. Eddie's going to go ahead and touch that. It brings up, you can see that's flashing, and then you'll want to reset that if that's the case. So now we've got your machine set up and we've got the power to it. We've made some quick adjustments. We've looked at some of the screens, the tooling screen previously. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to program this machine, and to do that I want to tell you one of the most important things that you can do is read the operator's manual on programming the 030TC, which they come with every machine. They're quite clear and there's pictures to go along with those. This YouTube video will be available also to help guide you through this. But this is the home screen. It's got 4 options, and from there you're going to be able to go to multiple places. So it's a very simple touch menu. First place we're going to go is the little keyboard symbol on the far right. We're going to go ahead and touch that and you see what happens here. And that's going to bring up the program data screen. What's this data screen? Well, this allows you to put in some parameters that helps you remember what you're doing. Some of this isn't mandatory. However, it's very much recommended that you do this. In this case, I would go ahead and enter the diameter of the tube thickness, the material, former, counterbend die and table that you're using, and then that'll be a good source for reference when you come back to this a month or 2 later. So as you can see here, we've got a program that we've called test at the top. And then we've gone ahead and filled those blanks in, so the information that's relevant to what you're doing is there. The next thing from here is you'd want to put a program bend angle, and we're going to go ahead and use the right arrow key over, Eddie. Tap that. This is going to bring up a real nice screen. This is one of the great features about this machine. You can put in as many bend angles as you'd like. Each bend angle can have a spring back value. Each bend angle has its own separate Mandrel extraction value. And each bend angle can have its own speed in which the bend occurs in. So you can see here on the left side it says 1, 2, 3. That would be bend number 1, 2, and 3 if you wanted 2 and 3. Go ahead and touch the 45, Eddie, and change that to a 90. We're going to put a 90-degree bend in there as simple as in a 90, okay. And then change the spring back setting from 12 to 14, just to show you folks how this is done. And we're going to go ahead and change the Mandrel extractions from, instead of pulling out 3 degrees prior to the end of the bend, we're going to do 4 degrees prior to the end of the bend. And then if it's a little harder material, a little softer material, maybe we want it a little slower, put it at 50%, Eddie, 50. Now go ahead and put a second bend in, doing everything we just talked about. Bend angle first, go to 45 in, and then put a 14 in for the spring back. If you wanted something else, you could do that. You're going to be very precise with your bends. Also do the extraction. This is, again, when the Mandrel extracts. So if you're doing a 45-degree bend, it's going to extract at 41 before the end of the bend so it doesn't get stuck into the part itself. Go ahead and put it at 50%. Again, it's the same material. I'd recommend slow as she goes in the beginning. As you know the material and understand the machine better, you can speed it up. It's not the speed of the bend, it's actually how consistent you are in getting the material on and off the machine more than anything. So go ahead and back out it now. That's saved. We're back to the data page where we had to get back to where we can initiate this program and start it. We're going to go ahead and hit the disk. It's going to say please wait for a second, and then we're going to hit the checkbox on the left hand side confirming that's the program we want, and then we're going to hit the home key. That takes us back to the home page. From there we're back at the home page, the main menu, the one we first showed you. We're going to hit the auto cycle button. Okay, if you remember when we programmed in the bend angle, the first bend, which is the first number on the left, bend number 1 on the test program, we put in a 90-degree bend with a 14-degree spring back at a 50% speed. That's exactly what you're seeing. Essentially, if the tooling's set up and the machine has the tubing on it, you're ready to go at this point. We're going to talk about how to mount all the tooling in a subsequent video, but I just wanted to right now to give you a good idea how this control works. And this goes pretty much along with the manual that we provided with the machine. Before we go ahead and mount material, I just want to show you folks, now that you've got it programmed, how this thing would look during the cycle. You get a good chance to see how the tooling moves. And I'm going to do that without a piece of material in there. And from the auto screen, I'm going to bring up the program that we created, which I've done, and just go ahead and I'm going to step on the foot pedal and initiate the cycle, and I'll walk you guys through what you're looking at on the video. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the foot pedal plus. It's going to wait, it's going to engage. Now it's going to clamp up here. There's your clamp, you got the pressure die moved in, your mandrel's going inward. Now your bend is initiated here, your C-axis is moving out. Got this slowed down, but I can speed this up a little bit if I want on the fly. Speed's not the issue. You can see the mandrel is still there. It's going to pull out where you told it to pull out, 4 degrees before the end of the bend here. There goes the mandrel back, and then the bend finishes. Okay, the mandrel's all the way back, the pressure die comes back, the clamp opens. All good stuff, because you don't want the clamp clamped when the material starts to return. And then I release the foot pedal, and then I step on it one more time, and that's going to go ahead, and that's going to bring the C-axis back. So that just gives you a real good idea before you mount the tube what's going on here, how all your tooling that you put in place should look, and what's going on. Good luck and happy bending.